none of the old familiar things have been there except for the theater. And we had the acrobats. They were an interesting group of people. They had an interpreter. Thank goodness for her. Because they were managed by a gentleman that had been with them since he was a child. The two youngest members they came from real rural China. They apparently, the acrobat groups, they go around to all these real small villages and bring kids in and teach them, and they live with them. I mean, their whole life changes once they get with the acrobats.
And they travel the world?
They travel the world with them, and when they go back home to China, they stay there. They don't go back to their families because they're constantly training and things. Their bodies were doing things that just, it looked like it hurt, but they were so used to it. And the little ones, they were only 8 and 9.
Wow.
And my children were with me there too, so they had some kids to play with, and they didn't feel so left out.
And how old were your kids at that time?
At that time, I think Kim was about 12, so he was about 8 and 12.
And they really enjoyed
meeting Wan Wei and Mao Ying. Never forget those two little girls. They were teaching my kids Chinese, Mandarin Chinese, and my kids would teach them English because they didn't know English. So they had a wonderful time that season. And we got real close to the ushers. I had hired the ushers. I managed the outside of the house, and all the ushers knew all. But everybody knew everybody. It was like a big, happy family. And the only thing I was not allowed because of I didn't want to mess with their customs or anything like that. I'd be really careful. Because I was the manager of the theater, and to me the show goes on time, period. There were times when they were late, and I would go back and say, come on, let's get going. And unbeknownst to me, I was making the male manager, really mad, and he wasn't paying any attention to me because I was mad.
Oh. Because of their customs.
Their customs, the women are, and it's like, well, I'm sorry. If I was over there, I would honor your customs, but you're over here, so we need to have a discussion. And we had it was interesting discussion because I really don't know if Miss Wong, who was the interpreter, really told me exactly what you said. I get the feeling that she kind of changed the words around. But it was sad when we left. I mean, when you spend that much time with a group of people, there was about 15 of them. You just become really close to them.
So with this group, were they able to be in the theater because of the fly house? Were they utilizing the fly house? Because it's so huge.
It was
so
huge.
they were that whole area.
They had I don't know if you've ever seen on TV the lion dance that Chinese people do, where they have the huge head and there's like 4 or 5 people underneath.
Oh, so they were doing all that too.
They did the lion dance, and they did they had women that did the plate spinning. On sticks, and they get these things going, like 4 or 5 of them going on at the same time. It was amazing. And the guys, there were mostly male, the 3 women and then the 2 that female. But the little girls it was like their body had no bones. I'm serious. They just contorted themselves into like pretzels. And it was amazing. One man, I can't remember his name, but I remember they had a barrel. I don't know how long it was, but it was kind of an oblong shaped barrel. And he would literally fold himself in half and go in the barrel. I mean, most people can't bend that far, And that's what they did.
Oh, you should see
me trying. Strange things that got to hurt.
You should see me trying to do yoga.
Well,
I don't bend that good.
Yoga on steroids is what this was.
I can only imagine because some of those moves are really tough.
If they ever get a chance, I mean, it was an experience for me, and I know my kids, we found some pictures with my kids, and then that's the other day, we go, oh, I miss them. And I kept in touch with Miss Wong for a little while.
Oh, that would be neat if we could get a hold of those and share them on our page.
Yeah, if you can, it would.
Well, that would be really
cool. Yeah, we can do that.
Oh,
I have those
yeah.
pictures. I have a lot of strange pictures of them. But they were fun to have. And then at the end of that season, in closing down and getting the theater winterized, I was more mad at myself because I didn't go back and check the dressing rooms, but I left it up to them.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to interfere.
Oh, they made it a mess.
Oh my gosh. It took me weeks. Because they lived it.
Yeah.
It's just, they changed some things, but they didn't change everything for us. And they're just not accustomed to emptying their trash. You see, so you can imagine if summer long of watermelon. Yeah,
so you had to clean that up.
Mildly. Yeah, it was bad. But it was a sad thing. We all in all.
Well, winterizing, I recently saw a photograph where they would bring in a lot of the kitty land.
Yeah, they did. They put it on the stage.
They put it on the stage. That's a really neat photo.
They did, and they had done that for many years because some of those the ride pieces were priceless.
Yeah.
It's not like you could go out and buy another one because there was nothing to replace it with.
Yeah.
Little airplanes.
Yeah, that was, I saw the airplanes.
Some of my stuff we used to have, I don't know if it's still there or not, but we had a big wagon that we pulled around, kind of like a gypsy wagon, and it wintered overnight in there too, and that's where we had it.
We have the frame of that.
Oh, you have the frame
yes,
of the wagon?
Our goal is to restore that and be able to pull it around.
Oh, I have pictures of my, that we have a little.
Because it has the medallions, the medallions that were on it, those are in the theater.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yes, so our goal, we have the frame in the back, and our goal is to get that restored and have a new trailer we could pull around and take to events and even have it open up and do puppet shows.
Yeah, that's what we do with the whole side. We'll go down to a stage and then we'll do like a medicine, an old time medicine show is what it was supposed to be.
Yeah. Oh, I was just so excited to bring it to some of these events like the Taste of Colorado and that would be so good to promote the theater and things we're doing. And
it was part of the park too.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people remember the old park, and to get them to that park, they've got to get the theater in their memories too. Unless they've had season tickets or went to some of our concerts later on, they really didn't know that the theater existed. And that's my main goal, is to get the next generation of people.
That's my goal.
In love with her too.
By doing this podcast here with HET, HS, going around the world, really sharing the history, and that's why we're doing this 3-parter with you, because the history is so important and the talent that has gone through. Let's talk about some of those musicians that you brought in.
We just year after the Acrobats, we associate of mine Ben that worked in the sales department there had a good friend, Greg Vickers, old Vickers gas station. Anyway, he had managed a lot of groups here. And so he had the connections, and we decided to do a concert series to see if that would be, it was, number one, it was good for the theater to keep people going in.
Yeah.
And even though she's there and people were around her, if you don't keep things going and alive, then things fall apart,
Exactly, and that's what we're doing now.
Unfortunately, that's what happened with not going like a legitimate theater and or concert venue.
Yeah.
And so the first year, we did a lot of blues and country. We had Newgrass Revival, which those guys loved it, and they were going to come and do a benefit for me. And Newgrass Revival was John Cowan, Bailiff Fleck, Sam Bush. They're all bluegrass musicians.
Now this was inside the theater.
Oh yeah. We sold tickets. We had our own box office. We sold tickets. And We had Ray Charles. We had Amy Harris. We had Riders in the Sky. There's a lot of. I noticed that Riders in the Sky is going to be at Chautauqua this summer. I like to speak with them.
Yeah.
Because they were there several times. They love that. They're the funnest group. Oh,
it'd be great to get them in the carousel show.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Because that's kind of one of our goals is to do some pop-up
I think that would be a really
concerts in the carousel show.
Good venue and to get people back over there. And then once they get there, you get a whole different realm of people other than just
mix it up.
Yeah, exactly. And I've kept in touch with a lot of them. And like I said, Doug Cowan was ready to bring his band and play for nothing. He wasn't asking for anything, just because to save the theater. And this was years ago. And then the next year, we did it 3 years in a row. So everybody's is meshing together. We had Air Supply and Elvin Bishop and oh gosh, I can see his face. I'll think about it. Anyway, really good. Jeff Beck. Really, really amazing musicians there. And we had with Ray Charles sitting at wonderful. And when I saw him, I thought, that's nice. He was nice. He really was. He was very, very genuine. But anyway, he sitting at his piano, and he said,
that would have been amazing.
I don't need I don't need this. He took his mic, because his mic was on the stand, sat it behind him, and played the rest of the show, because you don't need it in the theater. You don't need any amplification. It just is so
there.
Perfect.
Yes.
And people don't believe you. Even the entertainers don't believe you until they get in there. And even with their sound checks, they're not even, that's too much. They're blasting themselves out because they're so used to having to really, really crank up the amps. And they don't need to. And the guys from Air Supply do the same thing. Now, the Air Supply's harmonies with no mic, the most beautiful. Because I always talk to her. Did you just hear that? She loved music too.
Well, Tracy brought in this little record player, and that just has a little speaker, and they put it on the stage and played it, and I mean, it sounded beautiful.
You can talk in a normal voice that nobody ever had to. None of our actors. I think that's one of the reasons why they really care for it so much, because there are not theaters like anywhere. Even all of the older theaters out east that are still going to summer stock, they still don't have the acoustics.
Yeah.
And I have no idea who the architect was. I wish I knew, because that man deserves an award, or his family, something, because to understand acoustics in that time, in the 1890s, and to build it so perfect, and that's why she's so important, and that I worked so hard to have her designated a landmark, because you can't replace it.
No. Yeah.
And with the groups there, that were there, they loved it too. And they got them, how'd you do? And, there's people I still keep in contact with. They know I'm still around and that I'm trying. But I also had, other things to do. And I kind of lost track of everything, but I didn't lose track. I just couldn't spend so much time with it.
Yeah.
And after when we did the concert series inside the theater, I also was at that time in charge of all of the park entertainment. So not only did I had Stacks of Wax, which everybody knew the Stacks of Wax show, because that was the very first musical review that they had when it was over in the old haunted house area.
And what was that?
Stacks of Wax was 50s, 60s. Doo-wop, kind of, had 3 girls and 3 guys, and they had the poodle skirts for one. We did costume changes and all of the music.
And that's by the haunted house?
That originally they called it the music hall.
Oh, okay.
That time. And then they changed that into a bunch of games. I don't know, I can't remember what they put in it. But anyway, then we started doing that show in the Wheels restaurant. It was a restaurant that was right where the Carousel House is now. It would be just directly west of that. And it was a restaurant, we had a round stage in it, and the restroom was in the back. And so that we did that show in that restaurant, the Wheels, 50, 60s, you know. And those guys, we had to do auditions. You know, we had that show 1 year, and then the next year we expanded because the Palace restaurant, which is where the Trocadero was, they built a stage there. So we had Stacks of Wax, and in between Stacks of Wax, we did a show called Beach Babies, which was more surfing, USA, kind of, you know, the Beach Boys.
Oh, how fun!
We did that one, and then on the stage at the Palace, we did a Western show.
So you would have multiple performances. Would they be going on at the same time?
Not at the same. Oh no, okay. Not at this. But they were timed.
Okay.
Just to where you go
and you
from one to the other.
That.
Yeah, managed all that. Plus, we had the diving show.
Mm.
I don't know if you ever heard about that.
I don't remember when.
Yeah, the diving show was. Well, I can't even tell you what's there now. It was against right at the 38th Avenue wall, just down from the Wheels restaurant. So I'm guessing it would probably be where that dentist office is.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want a reference?
Uh-huh.
It'd be like right in there.
So right near Starbucks at 38th and Tennyson.
Mm-hmm. And we had a pool, and we hired a company out of Florida. They came and stayed the summer, and they did their shows like they did 4 shows a day. And so I had that, and then we also did the marketing department had specials that they would run throughout the summer to get more people in. You know, we did a 50s, 60s weekend. It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we did that. This first year went over great, so we did it a second year, and that was we had Bowser from Sha Na Na and Leslie Gore, who is my party girl, and we did Lou Christie, had Gary Puckett, just all of the AM radio, you know, 60s, early 70s people that everybody knew. You know the songs.
Was that KIMN?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it'd be just like listening to Kim radio, you know, sitting there and listening to that little AM tinny sound.
Yep.
But yeah, all of those guys.
And that was AM.
And that was we did that in the gazebo.
Okay.
So along with all of the other park entertainment, then we had to work in when they were going to play that wasn't going to conflict with anything else. And then along with that, we also had the traveling medicine show with the big trailer, that little part.
Now, how did that get pulled around? That's what
the kids did it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They
like
pulled the trailer around. Oh, wow.
They had anything else to do with, you know. You couldn't have anything motorized. Number one, it would take away from it's a medicine show.
Yeah.
Couldn't have horses in there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Mary did at one time.
Oh, yeah.
Used to have the pony ride. I used to love going on that, but I'd ridden horses since I was 3 years old, so to me it was kind of hokey for somebody to leave me around, but, you know. Whatever.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you answered that, because I was kind of wondering how that got around the park.
Yeah, it was just a little pathway back in Kittyland.
Okay.
I remember that from when I was real little, and they had kids, you know, teenagers, lead the horses around, and they were little, they weren't big, you know, like quarter horses or anything. They're probably more like Morgans or Welsh ponies. They weren't Shetlands, but they weren't real tall. Anyway, so I had that show, and then in Kittyland, I had a group of kids that were the Kittyland players, and they
fun.
That's the only place that they performed. They did. I did 2 of the shows, and then found another one that I got the rights to, and they did 3 different shows that were interactive with the kids. So they would, you know, gather all the kids up and have them sit down in this little area where they had little seats, and then they would get kids come in and bring them up on stage and make them part of the show. And that was really, really important to me because of Mary loving the kids so much. I thought, how, you know, some of these kids might grow up to be actors. You don't know. You might have given them their first chance on stage. And that's kind of felt that way with a lot of the kids that I hired. The musical reviews were choreographed, and the costumes came from a company called, it's in Kansas City. It's a big amusement park in Kansas City. The name just left me. But they helped out. That was already in place when I became the entertainment manager after the Acrobats. And Worlds of Fun. Anyway, so all of that hard part, as far as the choreographing and the music, they had all the music. They spliced all the tapes, that was all done for us. But the rest of the stuff that we did at home, but I wanted all of the cast I did that was part of and managed the auditions. And I had noticed in the years prior that it seemed like, and I don't need to be rude, it seemed like everybody was just a little too perfect.
Okay.
And shows, I mean, seriously. And I felt like there was a lot of kids that probably had amazing talent that were being overlooked. And I wasn't going to do that. I wanted, if it's my department, then I'm going to change it. And I did. I brought in kids that blew you away, but they weren't Barbie dollars. They weren't, all the little white, clean, little pretty boys. They weren't. I had a mixed cast.
That's great.
And it was important to me. Yeah. And I've some of those kids are doing so well. I had one kid that never really he didn't have any confidence in himself, but he could belt. My goodness. His name was Lamar Smith. Oh. And he came from East Denver and had to ride the bus. And didn't have a lot of money. And when I saw him audition, he's got some heart, And right now, he's one of the head choreographers for Celebrity Freestyle.
Well, that's wonderful. And you may have had it started.
Well, he said if it wouldn't have been for you, I would have ended up doing something else.
Well, and I feel that
nobody
really
would give me a chance.
That really goes with who Mary Edith is too.
That's
she wouldn't want like perfect Barbie doll.
No.
But, I mean, it's love. Loving everybody for who they are.
Well, yeah, you can miss out on so much, and so many of the kids were so talented. I mean, there was way more talent than I had space for, and I had kids that I was so happy to call them, because I had to literally argue with the World of Fun people. It's like, I appreciate all of the work that you do, but I'm the one who's spending the summer with these guys. You guys go home. You can make your shows at your park, whatever you want. I'm not going to interfere, but this is what I want. This is what Denver is. It's diverse. And I want the shows to reflect it, because I think at that point, then other kids will see, diverse. I've got a chance. Yes. If that kid can get up there and do that, and he comes from a really rundown part of town, then I can too, And it was really, really important for me.
And that is important. Yeah.
And that's why I tried to expand it to get as many kids in as I could. They were all under 18 years old, all of, the medicine show and my Kittyland performers and all of the singers and dancers. I had one girl, though, a man at Disney. Her name was Annie, and she was in my Wild West show. And she was one of those girls that just would like open her mouth a little bit and you could hear it 5 blocks away. She just had a set of lungs on a beautiful voice. And Disney came in the middle of the summer and did auditions for their shows in Florida. They took her away from me right in the middle of the summer. I was so mad. I was ecstatic for her. I mean, go for it. I would encourage all of them. You keep with it and go as far as you can take it. And if you don't want to make it your life, then that's fine too.
And that's one thing, we're doing with the Elitch Theater Academy and getting the kids together and teaching them the arts and then with our filmmaking class, we have the kids do a silent film. And, from start to finish, they wrote it, they directed it, they helped edit it, and we just kind of led them. And now that film, Steampunk Cowboy, got accepted into the Women of Film Festival.
I saw that.
Yes.
That's so good. I'm so happy.
Yeah, and so I just feel like, that's what would make Mary Elitch proud, seeing that that's part of her legacy and that it's going beyond just the theater, that now we're taking it to another level by, doing these podcasts, by entering, that was our first film production, entering that into other film festivals and giving kids that experience, because a lot of them, having that diversity, don't have the confidence. And then this gets them out there.
And there's a lot of, I think a lot of talent that doesn't get to express itself.
Yeah.
I mean, some kids can dance and some kids can sing, but some kids can't do both. And I think that was always my dream with starting to save her, not only getting legitimate theater back in there, but to be part of the Denver public schools. Well, actually all the schools, as many as we could, to use it as a teaching facility.
Yeah, and we need to wrap up. So that's a good ending point. That's one of our goals and what we're working on right now. We were just at Evergreen, and so we've partnered up with the International Youth Silent Film Festival, and the kids can make a silent film and submit it. They download the soundtrack. So you could go to our website, etfest.com, or historicelitchtheater.org, and look that up, and you could download the soundtrack. So it's a musical score, and then you make a film. So they have like romance, horror, just a mixture of different soundtracks that you could download, and then you make that silent film and submit it. Then that'll screen at the Bug Theater. So that's partnering up with the community. The Bug Theater opened their doors for us right now as we're closed, and so we've created the Children's Day film festival in honor of Mary Elitch, doing the Children's Day. So we'll do a lot of Children's Day events, and then that'll be September 14th and 15th. So that is our main event, and you and I are going to talk more about that and work together and get in the schools. And so, please keep watching our website, our Facebook page, our Twitter, our Instagram, and spread the word. It's so important to keep this theater going. So thank you, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
Wow.